Good evening or good morning. Ms. Groshin here with a evening update on lines for geometry. So I am working hard for you, so I need you guys to work hard for me. There was about 9 of you who did not do your geometry assignment yesterday. I'm going to be posting a lesson pretty much every single day, so check and make sure you've completed everything. So my sleepy kitty, who's over here, Chloe. Nope, won't even move. And myself are going to be reviewing the lines. I went over this yesterday during our live meeting earlier on Tuesday. But to make sure everyone's getting them, I'm going over them again. Once you're done viewing these, you're going to go and take the quiz. Most of you who took it did pass, but I think you should be able to pass with a slightly higher score. So all of this is just vocabulary and practice. So lines, vocabulary, term, point, point. It's the idea of just a dot. It is an exact location in space. It's something's going to stop. Point. Line. In this case, there will be arrows on both sides, and it's telling you that it goes on and on forever and ever in both directions. So a line goes on and on in both directions. We talked about it a little today. We have the diagonal line. A diagonal line is going to go like corner to corner. Horizontal, like a horizon. It's going to go flat across, horizontal. Vertical goes up and down. Same idea of like when you're doing things on the computer, for instance, when you're making a chart, you have a row and then you have a column. Think of a building. The building has columns. Those are vertical. A row is horizontal. Think about when you sit in a row, you are across, horizontal. Ray. I drew a sun because when I think of ray, I think of a sun ray, a ray of light. And if you think about the sun, that's your endpoint. The edge, there's your point. And then the ray is going to go on and on forever and ever and ever to sun ray. So you have an endpoint, and then you have an arrow that goes on and on forever and ever. So a ray has one endpoint, one arrow going on forever. A line has two arrows that go on forever and ever. Now a line segment, a segment is an end. If you've ever seen a caterpillar, it inches along. And if you look at the caterpillar, it looks like he has little lines throughout his entire body. And that's what allows him to be able to inch along like this. They move like a slinky. Those are called segments. Segment means section. So a line segment is a section that ends. So I could have a line with a bunch of different endpoints, a bunch of different sections where I break it up. So a line segment has 2 points side to side. So those are your basic lines. Now we have our parallel line, our intersecting line, and our perpendicular. So our parallel, the clue there is the double L's. They are side by side forever and ever, never to touch. They are the same distance apart throughout the entire line, forever and ever, never to touch. You can draw those using a line segment, a line, or a ray. Doesn't matter, long as their sides are here. When we think about our shapes, we think about like our quadrilaterals. Think of a parallelogram, we think of a square, we think of a rectangle. Intersecting. These are any lines that are going to cross at any time. They could cross small, they can cross big, any way. As long as they cross, intersect, they're intersecting. When you're driving and you come to a point in the road where there's cars coming from all directions, like with the stoplight, that's called an intersection. So I say, hey, stop at the intersection. Everyone stops because everyone's crossing. Crossing, intersecting. Last one is perpendicular. Speaking of perpendicular, I think of my kitty. Perpendicular. And I think of two kitties like this. Perpendicular. So, perpendicular lines, lines that intersect, but a perpendicular is slightly different than intersecting because perpendicular are going to cross at 90 degrees. 90 degrees, meaning the shape L. So it makes a perfect square. 90 degrees inside every single section. Something we'll be talking about later. If I were to draw a circle here 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90 is, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to ask you guys later, how many degrees would a circle be? How many degrees are all those angles together when I add them up? That's going to be one of our next topics, is talking about angle degrees. All of this goes together. So right angle, 90 degrees, intersection, or intersecting or perpendicular lines. So we're thinking about that when we're thinking about our shape. So when you're looking at, say, a square or a rectangle, those have perpendicular lines because they cross at a 90 degree. That's going to be different than, say, a triangle, because, and not all triangles, but some triangles are going to have acute angles, and when they cross, that's not going to be perpendicular. But if you have a right triangle with a perpendicular line and it crosses, then the lines here would be perpendicular, but this line and this line would be just intersecting. View the video. I have attached the anchor chart. Go take your quiz. Your goal is to get a 80% or better, possibly a 100. All right, have a good day.